here's what I want you to do this week. I've got 3 actions for you, right? Number 1, catch the reaction. Okay? Sometime this week, before you react to something, pause. Feel it in your chest and give it a word that's not happy, mad, sad. What is it that you're feeling? And then whatever that word is, even if it's not the perfect word, as long as it's not happy, mad, sad, that's going to be a win. Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of DFW Grit. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Taylor, and shoot, if I do say so myself, this might be the best episode I have ever made. And I haven't even made it yet. You're seeing the start of it right here. So today is happy, mad, sad. That was my range. Let's get into this. Shoot, this is going to be good. So let's just start with this. Most capable men are walking around emotionally undertrained. And I say that as a capable man. The deficiency is invisible until something exposes it. And I feel that I have been exposed, right? So what we need to do is we need to build the vocabulary instead of staying reactive and just calling it a personality. Because I'm guilty. And for the dudes watching this, and maybe some of the women, so are you. So, this, I'm telling you, this is going to be good. So, what I want you to do here, I want you to name it first, right? Before you respond to it. I only had 3 names. I had happy, mad, and sad. That was my range, right? It wasn't until recently. So what I've been doing, I've been going into Claude, ChatGPT, Chat Daddy. That used to be my boy. We broke up. It's just the long and the short of it. But what I'm finding here as I'm delving into this, and it's not just a matter of, hey, write this email better for me, write this social media post or this caption. It's going beyond that. And in going beyond that, it's coming to the surface rather abruptly that, like I said, I lived with the emotional range of happy, mad, sad, and the occasional 4th fake one. I'm fine. How you doing? I'm fine. It's an absolute lie 99% of the time, regardless of who says it. It's a reflex. So, like, just let's set the stage. I mean, I'm 42. I'm a business owner. I'm a husband. I'm a boss. I'm a manager. I'm a parent. I am a community builder, right? But I've got this short little range that I live in. Like I said, I'm a husband. I'm married to Tamika. And she's got more emotional capability in the cup of coffee she drinks in the morning than I have in my 42 years on this earth. It is not uncommon for us to either be having discussions about ourselves or our relationship or parenting or what'd you do today kind of things. And I'm searching for words. She's giving me words. She's giving me other places to land outside of happy, mad, sad. And these places, these are good places to land. They fit the situation better. They help me frame it better. But what finally cracked this open, like I said, it wasn't these conversations with her. It wasn't a quiz that I took. It wasn't a book that I read. Like I said, it was a machine. It was Claude, if you will. So what I want to do is I want to tell you about how I was exposed, how Claude exposed me. Um, and in all reality, probably how you need to be exposed. How you need to um as I'm searching for the word, just increase your vocabulary, right? It's not about me and it's not really about you, but it's about what we're doing about it. Because A man who can't name what they're feeling is really making decisions in the dark and just calling it instinct. And that, man, that kind of hurts when you hear it. It hurt when I heard it. So let's talk about what this episode is and what it is not, what it will be and what it won't be. This is not an AI episode. I'm not going to teach you how to use Claude. Okay. It's AI is a tool. AI is the doorway. This is not a confession episode. Sorry to break it to you. This is a diagnosis and a prescription episode. This is not a soft episode. What I want to do is help you figure out what's actually driving you, right? Because this is what I'm delving into. What's driving me? This is a learnable skill, right? This is something you can develop. This is not a feelings exercise. Um, because when it comes down to it, a lot of us men, we're walking around untrained. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. We are simply untrained. And the best part about being untrained is you can become trained, right? I mean, it's this you can train this skill that you're diving into. You can train this as a leadership skill. You can build the vocabulary, or you can simply just stay reactive and just call it a personality. That's nah. That's not me. It's not my style. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go over 3 principles here. We're going to go over 3 actions, and I'm going to give you a rule. So, we're going to start off with this. You can't lead what you can't name. You can't control what you can't name. 3 words isn't a range, it's a reflex. All right. So, if you remember the last solo episode, people doubt. People were in my reflexive understanding, people were asking too much of me, which is a wild thing to say because I created a job for myself in which I serve. And then I got mad for people wanting to be served. And like even right that just came like I got mad. So what happened was I had patients that were in my estimation at this point in time asking too much of me. They're asking more questions than I wanted to answer. I had a staff that was asking too much of me. I had a family that was asking too much of me. When I say asking too much, I mean just in the sheer volume of questions that I was being peppered with. But at the time, I called it what I felt. I felt mad because that's what I had to fall back on, right? But in all reality, in hindsight, it wasn't mad. It was a number of things. It was frustration. It was it was drained because I was pouring into people without refilling, right? I was tired, okay? Because the just like I said, just the volume of the questions that I was being peppered with. I was frustrated because I was being pulled in directions that I hadn't necessarily chosen, right? I mean, it's a weird thing to say because again, like I said, I am in the service industry. But my frame of mind at this point in time when I was feeling mad, part of it was frustration because I was being directed and guided, shoot without my consent per se. Maybe man, maybe even a little bit underappreciated. I've already told you what to do. Why are you asking me again? I don't feel appreciated. But I couldn't name that at the time. I could name mad. A 3-letter word is easy to remember. But I got this feeling inside my body, like I said, that was mad. So I called it mad. And once I called it mad, I responded like I was mad because that's the reflex that I've developed. That's the pattern. That's the behavior that I have lived in, right? So the cost is the word you choose determines your response. And I chose mad. So what happens when you become mad? You become short, you become direct, you become standoffish, and you will. Mad responds with force. Sad responds with withdrawal, right? Happy responds with coast. So if I've got 3 buckets, I've only got 3 reflexes. and none of them really have any precision because I'm not working with a this is a weird sense. I'm not working with a full toolbox. It's like a carpenter shows up and all he's got is a hammer, a pencil, and a speed square. Can't build a house with that, right? So, next time you are feeling a strong reaction, say it's been sometime in the recent past or sometime coming up in the near future, before you react, do me a favor, just ask what this is actually, but you're not allowed to use happy, mad, sad. Okay? Your range is 3 words, then your response is 3 reflexes. Principle number 2. The machine, whoop, the machine did what most men in my life couldn't do. And that's not I'm not decrying the actions of other men because I mean we're all kind of raised in the same way, right? The machine did what other men couldn't do. Did I say number 2? No, I think it's number 3. Oh yeah, number 1, ranges and reflex. Can't even read my own damn handwriting. So yeah, the machine did what the other men in my life couldn't. And it's not because they wouldn't, it's just because, much like myself, they didn't know how. So the unlock, it wasn't just AI giving me more words, so to speak. Um, it was it was showing me patterns. So what happened? The way this thing really started to come to the surface. Um, I was delving into it. I was going through processes and procedures, trying to figure out a way to become more efficient with all of the things I do. Right. And one thing that it unearthed was my love at starting stuff. So it basically it diagnosed me in a sense that it asked me what my risk aversion was. And I'm like, I don't really have a risk aversion. Like I have no qualms with doing the next thing, with starting something with no idea where it's going to end. It doesn't bother me. I'll figure it out along the way. And in a lot of sense, I feel like that's a strength of mine. How's this end? I don't know, but we're going to figure it out before we even start. Okay, cool. There are other people that no, I need to know where this is going to end. Not me. I'll start stuff. And what it did is like, hey, Dr. Taylor, it seems like this is a pattern that I'm noticing that you continually start stuff and you'll get it 80% of the way there, but you also not finish 80% of the stuff that you start. That's the pattern. You get the dopamine hit from starting. You feel accomplished without accomplishing anything. You feel accomplished simply by doing. And shit, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Like I've never put a name to it on my own. I've always called myself ambitious. I've called myself driven. I've called myself a builder, right? And it looked at the pattern and it showed me that I'm chasing the feeling of achievement. Starting the process is that dopamine hit. Finishing it isn't, right? And it's that hit hard. And that like it was so blatantly obvious when it came out like that because that wasn't what I thought I was doing. Now, why it worked when other things hadn't? Because this AI, this Claude, it was private. It didn't flinch. Um, it did get fired for asking the wrong questions, right? It didn't make it about itself, and it didn't redirect jokes that I made, right? I mean, the honest part, the hard part was most men in your life can't give you this, and it's just simply because it's not because they don't love you. It's because they're operating with the same skill set that you have. They've got a 3 word vocabulary, and you can't get range from a guy who doesn't have range to give because we weren't taught how to do that. I'm not saying AI replaced anybody. I'm saying it exposed in my life who was actually equipped to help me and who was actually equipped to help me figure out what I was feeling. And the answer was almost nobody, including me. simply due to a lack of training. The goal is not to outsource your life to a machine. I want to make sure that is clear. I don't want you outsourcing anything because this is all internal work that we're going to have to do. But what I want you to look at it as is it is simply a tool to help get the job done. Like that carpenter with a hammer, a speed square, and a pencil, he just needs another tool to get it done faster. I didn't need a friend who would agree with me. I needed a tool that would help name me. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to know that naming things is a leadership skill. It's not a soft skill by any stretch of the imagination. Another good example. So I've got someone in my world. Let's just say I've been working on a project, right? And I need things from him. I need things from him to get the project moving, right? I need lists. I need guidelines about how this is supposed to be completed. I need contacts, and I ask for them, and he says they're on their way. And then I ask for them again, and he says, "Well, you have to ask so and so." Or they're coming in the next week, or this guy's handling it. Well, you just told me a little bit ago you were handling it. And a year ago, I mean, and even present tense, I would say that I am frustrated with this process. You told me one thing, you're showing me another thing. You're changing your words, you're changing the story. This is frustrating. Um, and frustrated, if that was the only emotion I was able to name in the past, that would have driven a response. Possibly an unnecessary response, a response that's harder than what it potentially needs to be, a response that would stop conversation. Hell, that might ruin a friendship or might cause some sort of disengagement. But with a bigger vocabulary, what I'm feeling is more disappointed. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But in some sense too, foolish. I'm feeling foolish internally because I keep going back to this well that is empty. Why do I keep doing that, right? I'm just I'm operating in a world, that I haven't verified, and that makes me feel foolish. But naming these things differently changes the response, as opposed to if I responded in a frustrated manner. What it does is it helps me recalibrate. It helps me recalibrate myself and how I approach this conversation. Because what happens is frustration reacts, and we've all been there. Disappointment recalibrates. It's the same situation. It's just two different responses depending on how you name it. So, another perfect example is going to be parenting. I've got a first grader and a third grader. Actually, they just got finished. So now it's a second grader and a fourth grader. And I saw a video from Neil deGrasse Tyson a while ago that I fall back on about how he talks about how kids are natural born scientists. The only problem is their experiments are loud and their experiments are annoying. Like Frankie's doing this thing, or she's like doing some kind of trumpet. I don't know, some kind of trumpet thing with her face. But they're and Calvin's a second grade boy. He's bouncing all over the place. So on the surface, to a overstimulated parent who has been answering questions from patients and staff and spouses plural. I only got one all day. And then if I've got a second grader and a fourth grader who are being second graders and fourth graders, and I don't remind myself that these kids are simply doing experiments. Why are they loud? Because they're doing experiments in acoustics. Why are they jumping all over the couches? Because they're testing their bodies. They're testing anatomy and physiology, something daddy works with all day. If I reframe it like that, I'm allowing them to be kids. If I stay with the original frame and feeling of frustration, and then I respond like a frustrated parent, I stop them from being kids. And I show them that they're living with somebody who doesn't let them do just things that they're figuring out. They're not doing it to be wild and crazy. They're figuring stuff out. They haven't been in this world long enough to know how things work. They haven't built up they haven't built up the memory. to know what their body can do and what they can't do, what this sounds like and what that sounds like. An annoyed parent reacts differently than one who realizes his kids are just being inquisitive. A man who can name that feeling makes sharper business decisions too. He doesn't let unprocessed irritation drive his reactions. Makes a better parent, makes a better spouse, makes a better person, makes a better leader in every single situation. If you've only got 3 options, you've only got 3 reflexes. So, I want you to let this land. This is the emotional vocabulary of a capable man. It's an extensive vocabulary. Emotional precision is a leadership skill. The guys who don't build the skill stay reactive their whole lives, and they call it a personality. You can't have a personality if you live in happy, mad, sad. You got to go to the gym. You got to work out these muscles, because what we'll do is we will work out our business muscle, our negotiating muscle, hell, our muscles. We got to work out our vocabulary muscles. You build the body, you build the business, you've got to build the vocabulary. So here's what I want you to do this week. I've got 3 actions for you, right? Number 1, catch the reaction. Okay. Sometime this week, before you react to something, pause. Feel it in your chest and give it a word that's not happy, mad, sad. What is it that you're feeling? And then whatever that word is, even if it's not the perfect word, as long as it's not happy, mad, sad, that's going to be a win. And I want you to write down that word, that feeling, whatever you think it is. Hell, go to Google. I'll give you some starting points. All right. So the words can be disappointed, disrespected, depleted, grateful, ashamed, proud, lonely, jealous, afraid, content. Pick one of those. Pick a simile to those. Simile? Similarity? Synonym? Synonym. Pick a synonym to one of those. And then I want you to have a real conversation with somebody. All right. I want you to tell one person, your wife, your kid, your friend, your team member, what you're actually feeling. Okay. And I want you to use a word that you wouldn't normally use. It can be one sentence. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Parents ever said that to you? Mine said it to me. I'm not fine. I'm depleted. Literally tell somebody. Don't text it to them. Don't message it to them. If you have to, go for it. But if you can actually vocalize it, that'll help you internalize it more. Build your vocabulary. All right. You got to reinforce. You got to remember you don't have a feelings problem. You simply have a vocabulary problem. And a vocabulary is buildable. All right. A man who can name what he feels makes better decisions. Period. End of sentence. Hard stop. No questions asked. Now, as a reminder, every single one of these solo episodes has a field manual that goes with it, because I am extremely confident that those of you that are watching this, probably, if you've made it all the way to the end like this, you probably needed to hear this, which means you need practice in it, just like I do. So go to www.dfwgrit.com, click on the field manuals tab, and download the field manual for this episode. And we will help you get through this. We being you and me. We'll help you expand your vocabulary, because happy, mad, sad is a starvation diet. You can survive on it, but you can't lead from it. So, as always, it is my sincerest hope that you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design, because I'm learning a lot of shit by accident as I go through this thing called life. So I hope you could take a couple of these things with you also. Like, share, follow, tell your friends about this. If you want to be on, slide into our DMs. We're getting real good at this. I'm very proud of you. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next episode.